Hayley is 47, works in real estate, and lives in the East End. She says, "I always look feminine and put together. Even when I'm wearing jeans, I'll add some nice earrings." Hayley is extremely outgoing, social, warm, fun-loving, interesting, goofy and musical. "I regularly give presentations for hundreds of people, and I love to add some humor. I'm not a passive person. I'm curious, funny, engaged and assertive. I love helping people." Hayley has a lot of close friends, and says, "I work hard to stay fit and trim." She loves skiing, running and hiking, and says, "I like to go to exercise classes and then head out for coffee or juice with my friends." After a bad breakup, I didn't date for a while, but eventually decided to just get back on that horse. Before I met the man who would go on to break my heart, I had approached Diego on a dating site. Hayley and Diego's text conversations were great, but meeting him in person told her instantaneously that he wasn't for her. Dreams time. I'd found his profile hilarious, and he seemed very attractive. He was really tall, and had a bit of a dad bod, which I love. It means that a guy isn't so vain that he's into working out 24/7. He did turn out to be very funny, but some of our exchanges had turned me off because he seemed sarcastic, or cold. I wasn't used to that and didn't always know how to respond. I'm a very positive person. I didn't really mind that the conversation with Diego had dropped off before I met someone else. Still, I was considering getting back in touch with him when I was single again. Then, out of the blue, Diego sent me a message. The timing was incredible. We picked up right where we left off. We messaged for a while and then started talking on the phone, too. The dynamic between us was the same as it had been from before. His messages were amazing, romantic and sweet and so funny. I was captivated by his brain, and he seemed amused by me. But, just as often his words would throw me off with the sarcasm I'd noticed before. I'd decide that it was all too much for me, and then I'd get another amazing text and be completely charmed again. I definitely wanted to meet, because I know that chemistry would decide this for me, and delaying a date to text or message more can kill momentum. Diego insisted that we talk more first. I understood his hesitation, because this was our second time going through the get-to-know-you phase together, but I still thought it was important to meet sooner rather than later. Finally, we set a date to meet. Just a coffee. He chose a coffee shop I'd mentioned that I liked, which was thoughtful. I was really eager. As I approached him, I had an instantaneous feeling that Diego wasn't my guy. I just knew. I have no idea how or why. I felt awful for not insisting that we meet earlier, and for wasting his time, even though I couldn't have known. I had really put high hopes on this date, and then I was the one to burst the balloon. He was very good looking, even better than in his photos. He wore clothes very well. He was as tall as he'd said he was, and had great hair. As we talked, I understood that Diego was completely charming and funny, and very gentlemanly in conversation, and in person I realized how the edginess that I'd noticed online was coming from his sharp intelligence, and was meant to be humor. Even realizing this didn't change anything for me. Something was just missing. I do believe chemical attraction is extremely important. Of course, I want to be with someone who is smart, funny and kind, but none of it matters if you don't feel pulled toward them. Attraction is very much in the mind. Before I met the previous guy, the one who broke my heart, I'd actually found his picture unattractive, but friends insisted that I meet him, and within minutes I was smitten. It's an ineffable thing. Diego was classy to the end, and hugged me on our way out. After we said our goodbyes, I cried in my car. Hayley rates her date, out of 10, to want to be a dating diarist. Email datingdiaries@gmail.com. Report an error. Journalistic standards about the startup stories, delivered to your inbox. NWSLETTERHEADLINESSIGN up.